So I think it was 4 years ago, either fall of 2012 or winter of 2013. And I was in the Harold Bealey Library with Logan. We'd just been studying together, and we came down to the main floor, the third floor. And I was sitting and studying in the library with one of my friends. And up walks Logan Lewis, who I knew from my freshman year. And both of us had served our missions and come back. I hadn't seen him since, but he walks up and says hi and introduces his sister, Whitney, who's there with him. And I just remember right away, I was like, wow, Logan, you have a really good looking sister. We just chatted for like a minute probably. I was talking to Derek and the guy that was with him. And as we were walking away, Logan was like, you like him, don't you? And I was really surprised, but he just said, you just get this look on your face when you like somebody. And I remember thinking, like, Logan knows me so well because I was kind of smitten by Derek. We didn't talk a whole lot. Like, she seemed really nice, really friendly. And I was like, yeah, there's no way. It would never work. Like, I'm not good enough for her. And my friend was there who was married. And afterwards, when Whitney and Logan walked away, he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she was hitting on me. So I didn't see Whitney after that first library meeting for it was probably almost 2 years. And I was just going to Institute with some of my friends from the ward, and it turns out she was teaching Institute in my stake. But I did immediately remember that she was Logan's sister, and sat and listened to her lesson and was just really impressed. I just remember thinking, like, man, not only is she really good looking, but like she's an incredible girl who, really good teacher, really loves the Lord and knows the gospel. I was working in the temple, ran into a friend, Brian Walker, and asked him if he was going on any camping trips this summer, and he said that he was. He invited me to go camping down in Goblin Valley. We had been trying to plan something for a while. So he invited me, and then later on let me know that a couple other girls were going to come with us. And I was supposed to go with my boyfriend, but we broke up. I think she had emailed and said that she was going to bring her boyfriend too, and so I was like, oh, dang it. Like, hoping for a chance to get to know her. And when she showed up, it was just her and her roommate, and there was no boyfriend, and so I started wondering. And so it was just Derek and Brian and Lacey and I, and it was like the best weekend. She brought up that she had just broken up with her boyfriend, and it had been kind of hard and especially rough for him, so we talked through some of that and some of our own frustrations that we'd had in the past with dating, and we just kind of clicked and connected really well. And I wrote in my journal, it's a real shame Derek Day is leaving for med school. It's been a while since I've been disappointed to leave a guy, and that's how I felt on Friday. The people, the conversations, the music, the freedom and escape, that's what made this last week, spring break, so delightful. I felt radiant even though I was dusty and makeupless. Goblin Valley never ceased to impress. Neither did Derek Day. I think I Facebooked Derek the next day asking if he'd seen my sunglasses because I couldn't find them after the trip. But really, I just wanted an excuse to talk to him. So after that time, we would get together pretty often. We'd get together and do dinner at her apartment or mine, or we'd go out to eat and get pupusas or tacos. He was moving, and so he didn't have any food at his house, so we ended up having dinner together like every night. And it was never really like an official date. And so I think both of us were kind of in this limbo, wondering if the other was even interested, or if we were kind of just hanging out just because we didn't really have anything else to do, or what the situation was. We ran into a mutual friend, Rochelle, who asked us if we were on a date. Awkward. I said no, so I guess not. And both of us were just kind of sat there for a little bit and laughed, and eventually Whitney said no, and so I was like, oh shoot, I guess like there's not anything there. I went on a date in Salt Lake one night, and the whole way home I was just thinking about Derek. So I texted him on the way home and I was like, hey, can we go on a walk? And we walked around for a while that night, and I told him how I was feeling, and basically made it known that I really liked him a lot. It was like 10:30 or 11 at night. It was pretty late, so I was surprised. I was like, there's gonna be something that she really has on her mind. And I told her too, like, yeah, like the reason I've been wanting to spend so much time with you is because I definitely am interested. Derek and I only had a little bit of time together, and he went to Hawaii during some of that time, and then I went on a family vacation with the Bradshaws. And while I was gone, I really missed him. So the day that I got back, we saw each other and we went on a walk. And we walked to the Shakespeare Castle, and I just told her that. I told her I didn't want to date anybody else, and I wanted to give it its best shot. That's when we decided to officially start dating. I mean, he said that he didn't have very much time left, but he wanted to make the most of it, and so we decided to start exclusively dating and to see each other every day until he left. So Derek was really sweet and took me to see a play. I love live theater, and we went to BYU to see Charlotte's Web. We were walking out and holding hands, and I'd kind of thought before I wanted to just walk with her and talk to her there afterwards. So we walked past the car,
And she was like, like, are we going? I was like, oh, you want to go for a walk? And so we just walked around, and I took her to where the paths cross in between the library and the ASB.
Lucky for us, it was Friday night and it was a beautiful evening and no one was really there. And so we were just walking and talking and we stopped there, and that's when he just paused and whipped around in front of me.
I don't know, the moment was just right, so leaned in and kissed her, and it was great. It's just the touch of your hand behind a closed door.
So Derek said that he loved me first, which is what I wanted. And it was a Sunday night. I was up babysitting Aaron and Rachel's kids, and so Logan and Lynette came up with Shiley and we watched Amazing Grace. And I invited Derek to come up and watch it with us. And he skipped the NBA Finals and a barbecue to come spend time with me. So I knew that he really loved me when he did that. And so we watched the movie, and then my siblings went home and we were just talking for a little bit. And before he left, we were just sitting there and he's like, I need to tell you something before I leave. And that's when he looked at me and said, I love you.
Whitney actually came down with me, drove with me to Houston when I moved, which was kind of just a spur of the moment decision where I had just asked her, hey, do you want to drive down with us, with me and my dad, when I moved down to Houston? And luckily she said yes. And it was really great. I just remember just loving talking to her and holding her hand as we drove, and fastest 24-hour drive I've ever had.
And while we were there, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, if we were going to keep dating or break up or what. So a couple days before I left, we were just sitting in his bonus room, and it was a Sunday night. I've been talking to my mom about it and kind of voicing some of my concerns to her, and just felt like I needed to bring it up and talk to him. So I asked him, should I be looking at schools in Houston? And I was really surprised when he immediately was like, yeah.
I just told her, you know, when I think about my future family and my life and how I want it to be and who I want it to be with, it's all with you.
Then he basically just told me that he felt like he knew who he wanted to be with for the rest of his life, and who he wanted to face medical school and life with, and to be his wife and the mother of his kids, and that he felt like we knew each other well enough, and that if I went back to BYU, dating long distance wouldn't really help.
So I told her that, and I was just like, well, I don't know what we do now, like where we go from here. And she's like,
well, I think we get married. And that was the moment when we were like, okay, oh my gosh, like we're doing this.
And so then she was right. So we decided then that we would get married, but it wasn't for another 6 weeks until we actually got engaged.
Derek and I met down in Phoenix. We met up at Esther and Steve's house for the BYU Juve football game. And I wasn't expecting Derek to fly in until pretty late at night, and so I was going to wait at the airport for him because I wanted to be the first one to see him.
I surprised her at the airport. I showed up a lot earlier than she was thinking I'd be there.
And so I was walking through the terminal, like on a mission, going to get my bags and to meet up with my dad, and I hear this voice like, Whitney Lewis. And I looked up and I didn't see anyone I knew. And then I did a double take and realized Derek was standing right there, and he shaved his beard, and I wasn't expecting to see him there, so I had totally almost missed him. And then I just walked over to him, gave him a big hug. Was totally like shaking and so happy to see him. It had been a long time.
And took her out to Tempe Town Lakes, and we got tacos. It was recreating one of the dates that we'd had here when I picked her up from the airport in Utah.
We just walked along the water's edge, and there were these Italian lights in the back that I love. I think he got the mayor to turn them on for me or something.
So I just told her I didn't want to wait anymore, that it was time.
Then he knelt down on one knee and asked me to marry him.
And luckily she said yes. And happiest night of my life. It was great.
But I was just so excited to be officially engaged.